Namaste friends. In this video we are going to discuss on ethical issues in public service delivery and utilization of public funds. In chapter 1.6 we already discussed ethics in public service. So in this video only we discuss on ethical issue in utilization of public funds. Let's talk about public funds and their utilization. Public funds are those funds established to collect and use resources in accordance with prevailing law for public interest and use. Utilization of public fund means timely and properly collection of fund as per legal provisions and principles and their lawful use for maximum citizen welfare. It includes activities such as identification, collection, protection, allocation, utilization, accounting, reporting, internal control, auditing, and evaluation of financial resources. While operating public funds, community needs should be linked with financial resources and prioritized accordingly. The proper utilization of public funds is essential for national development and upliftment of people. Here is one quotation from Kautilya. All undertakings depend upon finance, hence foremost attention shall pay to the treasury. Talking about the scope of public funds, foremost is legal provision, which include approval of budget and expenditure allocation by parliament, authorizing spending, etc. Under revenue management, it comes identification of revenue sources, determination of base and rate, and collection, negotiation and receipt of foreign aid in form of loan and grant, and collection of internal loan or internal borrowing. In expenditure management, it includes a disbursement of the fund, replenishment, and cash flow management. Accounting includes recording of authorized transaction disbursements and expenditure in prescribed format and establishing financial accountability and responsibility through reporting system. Under monitoring and evaluation, it includes internal control, auditing, monitoring, and evaluation of projects or programs funded by public money and feedback system management. Last but not the least, ethics and morality, which includes responsibility, transparency, and legal compliance of agencies and individuals managing public funds, their conduct, system of punishing for misuse of fund, and integrity in the role of fund custodians. The principle of proper utilization of public funds are regularity, economic efficiency, effectiveness, and relevance. Talking about elements of measuring utilization of public funds, first one is availability and compliance of legal provision regarding fund use. Second is resource availability and expenditure efficiency. Third one is utilization and conservation of public resources. Fourth is control of social crime. Fifth is control of corruption and irregularity. Sixth is transparency and quality control in public procurement. Seventh is impact of public service delivery on people's well-being. And eighth is public trust or perception. Talking about the ethics in public fund operation, personal funds are managed with consideration of social and cultural value, health, and family welfare. They remain private with no wider public concern. However, public fund must comply with related law, policies, directives, public interest, accountability to authorities, and responsibility to rightful beneficiaries. Therefore, those engaged in managing public funds are bound by various policy, legal, structural, and organizational provisions ensuring discipline, accountability, and responsibility. There are four core foundations of public fund operation. First is input level, which covers overall economy. Second is process level, which covers regularity and efficiency. Third is output level, which covers effectiveness and relevancy. Fourth is allocation level, which covers equity and fairness. Let's discuss principles of public fund operation. Financial control for result, obedience to financial act and regulation, comprehensive and accurate representation of transaction, no taxation without representation. This idea derived from the Magna Carta. Ideal allocation and efficient use, check and balance through internal control and audit, harmony and uniformity, credibility of budget, transparency, accountability and predictability, value of money, effective stewardship of resources, efficient provision of services. Let's talk about status of public fund operation in NIFLI context. First, let's start with background. Economic administration as a backbone of national administration has made various policy and structural management to strengthen, empower, and ensure transparency in public fund management. Internal control system function under the executive, while external control bodies are established as constitutional entities. Despite this, weakness remain in financial discipline, regularity, and transparency. Existing arrangement. First one is policy arrangement, and top of that there is constitution, which is the fundamental law of the land. Constitution in Part 10, Part 16, and Part 19 provide provisions of federal, province, and local financial procedure. Each level maintain its own consolidated fund. The Constitution provision Commission for investigation of abuse of authority for control of misuse of public funds, especially investigation for corruption and large case. And Part 22, there is the provision of Auditor General for auditing public funds. There are several laws related with public fund management, like Financial Procedure and Fiscal Responsibility Act 2076, Public Procurement Act 2006, and regulation and other several laws are there. One of the important law is Good Governance, Operation and Management Act 2007 also there. There is a Right to Information Act, Corruption Prevention Act, Income Tax Act, and several provisions regarding confidentiality and transparency. Talking about the institutional arrangement, we have Parliament, federal, province, and local legislature, and their committees for lawmaking, budget approval, and their executive branch accountability to ensure those committee. We have three level of government, and all three level have their own executive to execute budget and responsible use of public fund. We have bureaucracy in three level for collection, income and expenditure of resources, Ministry of Finance, National Planning Commission, and sectoral ministry agency for budget formulation, expenditure and monitoring, Office of the Financial Comptroller General and District Treasury, and Account Control Office for Fund Record and Operation, Public Procurement Monitoring Office. We have National Vigilance Center for promoting ethics in public administration. We have also Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority as a constitutional body for corruption control. Internal control system, we have Office of Auditor General for auditing. We have Nepal Rashtra Bank for monetary policy. Donor agency, civil society, mass media also play important role for effective use of public fund as a watchdog and interest group and pressure group as well. Talking about the operational efforts, budget system reforms, we implement LMBIS, TSA, and various action plan implementation, timely budget approval, constitutional mandate to bring in JET 15. In budget, there is program classification by priority P1, P2, P3 and allocation accordingly. Initiation of multi-year allocation for mega project in budgeting, resource allocation on a swap basis, legal provision of limited reallocation of public fund, revenue administration reform, ICT use, online tax return, performance based incentive, tax rate adjustment, and expansion of tax base. We initiated procurement reforms uh, related with cost estimates, procurement plan, competitive bidding, multi-year procurement system. There is coordination with development partners need uh, based on Paris Declaration, Accra Agenda for Action, Istanbul Program of Action, which guides the development cooperation. Main problem in public fund operations are lack of transparency in fund collection and its use, growing corruption, leakage, and irregularity, expenditure in unproductive areas, and one of the main problem is pork barrelism also. And those problems have severe impact in public fund management. Related to transparency, all public funds not integrated into national treasury. Administration run through non-administrative decision, non-transparent defense expenditure, rising security and confidential spending, especially in National Investigation Department, Nepal Army spending are not transparent. A majority of funds allocated under relief and assistance misused by political or personal interest instead of genuine victim. Limited scope of oversight institution. Most of them are focused in Kathmandu Valley. Weak institutional capacity of auditing and parliament committees, limited parliamentary scrutiny in public debt repayment. Related to corruption and irregularity, there is procedural issues in public procurement remain unresolved. Persistent problem in asset management, weakness in expenditure recording and reporting, rising financial irregularities and errors, absence of code of conduct of certain special procurement areas like medicines, health equipment, defense items, leading to repeated breaches of discipline and accountability. Related to unproductive spending, there are politicization of budget approval and growing of off-budget expenditure, budget allocation to new program without sufficient study and long-term vision, inappropriate prioritization of indicators, continuation of project without life cycle assessment, dominance of central level projects, growth of recurrent expenditure compared to capital expenditure, with a large portion of capital budget remain unspent, rising liabilities in pensions and other long-term commitments, inability to spend targeted foreign aid due to lack of long-term vision, gap between aid commitment and receipts and utilization, lack of coordination at implementation level, underutilization of technical assistance, lack of financial discipline, structural weakness in project design. Next one is inability to achieve expected outcome and sustainability from foreign aid, public debt not tied to productive projects. What should we do to overcome this problem? First is drafting and implementing financial responsibility law as a separate law, improve in fund management, expanding the role of financial comptroller general office and error settlement committee for financial transparency, amending law to strengthen accountability of financial officer and improve internal control system, controlling misuse of fund under relief and assistance, adopting clear standard guidelines, evidence-based assessment, and requiring full reporting to the parliament, improvement in asset management, effective management of public procurement, reform in expenditure recording, adoption of accrual accounting system, reform in error settlement process, linking responsibility to officials and incentivize reduction of errors, implement of result-based budgeting system, effective implementation of contributory pension system, reform in sectoral planning and aid operation, ensuring timely release of allocated funds, reduction of off-budget expenditure, policy, institutional, operational, and environmental reforms in foreign aid management, reform in ownership, objectives, efficiency, workforce management, and accountability of public enterprises, burdening public fund with losses. Here comes our conclusion. Although policy, structural, and legal reforms in economic management have continued, lack of sensitivity towards public fund, uh, weak integrity of leadership, growing irregularities and corruption, mismanagement of public enterprises, and lack of economy efficiency and effectiveness in overall resources utilization have hindering meaningful reform. Unless our mindset, approach, and behavior change, organizational, structural, policy, or legal reform alone cannot bring improvement. Discipline and accountability in practice remain lacking, echoing saying all know the way but few actually walk it. Adopting the belief that sunshine kills all the germs and ensuring strict legal and practical discipline and accountability from the highest level is the best course for brighter future. With this, we end this video's discussion. Feel free to comment and put your thought. Thank you very much.